What's up everybody? Tom here with another video. A lot of people are scared about the recent 4% crash that we've had in the stock market, especially this Nasdaq one. But in today's video, we'll be talking about Thanksgiving, what to expect for the next couple of days, and of course, what we are thinking into the end of the year. We'll be covering Tesla, Apple, gold, US oil, Bitcoin, and more throughout today's video, including our indices. There's a lot to cover, and I'm pretty excited to discuss it all with you, the community. Stay tuned, guys. All right, everybody. Well, welcome to the market recap that starts here for the markets closed 23rd of November 2021. It's a pretty bad start for many in the week of Thanksgiving, and this is not uncharacteristic of Thanksgiving. Unfortunately, this Monday, Tuesday sometimes does slump. We sometimes see a small slump in December, but overall, we generally carry a bullish sentiment through. So let's talk about some stats here. So of course, there's a 2/3 chance that we are going to be up in the market come the Wednesday session. That's the day before Thanksgiving. It's a 57% chance that we're up on the day of after Thanksgiving, so the Friday, and of course a 71% likelihood that we're up on the Monday after Thanksgiving weekend. So in general, you do see bullish action coming into the markets through the back end of November. That's the big kind of story here. The last 5 trading days of November are traditionally positive since 1950. We need to remember these stats, put them in perspective, and obviously follow our technical analysis, follow what the markets are telling us along with these stats. And when we bring them both together, it can be quite a powerful thing. We do like to do it on this channel, and hopefully if you enjoy it, remember to subscribe and smash that like button, guys. It does help us out with the algo and everything else that's going on. Let's take a look here at the S&P 500, the large companies for the trading session that's just closed. We had muted responses here from the technology. Semiconductors continued to get smashed a little bit. Certain areas not doing so well. Tesla fell from that 1200 high and then really started to crack back down to 1100. It's been a lot of day trading activity on that stock as we try to figure out where the new price is after the large move. More consolidation, it looks like, as we've been talking about. We'll cover that later. And we had a really nice movement out here in the banks. So a lot of banks actually picked up thanks to the US 10-year inflation kind of concepts rising, and of course this idea that maybe we're going to have a strong movement forward in the idea of raising rates over time. All right, let's move over to the market indices, and this is where things get a little bit interesting. So we actually saw a selling market through a lot of the day. It sold off heavily at the beginning, the Nasdaq leading the charge down along with the IWM, and then both kind of bottomed along with all the other market indices and then came up into the close. Again, bullish signals here coming into the end. And this is where we hit a moving average and we hit a key technical that we suspected would happen in the previous video we did yesterday. You can go and check that out. The 20 moving average daily. We hit it on both the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq, and we hit beautiful support here on IWM. So I'm hoping that the stats hold true for that Wednesday bullish action. Let's hope it does happen. If we're taking a look at which one of the sectors was doing best, we had quite a few big movements here, but in general, it was all about XLE and the financials. Financials and XLE, they were doing the best, so energy as well. Gold, solar, technology, all of those were down. Let's take a look at the VIX, or the fear index. It spiked above 20, but couldn't hold above that area. As we know, 20 considered a bearish sign for markets. If the VIX goes above 20, what tends to happen? We tend to see the market start to tank. And usually it means it's broken through a key level of support. You'll see how they correlate together. We're going to take a look at that a little bit later in the video. Move over to dollar index. This continues to be quite strong. This is the US dollar. This strength here was ordained ever since we saw the double bottom. That is the huge technical that we've been looking for now for multiple months. And it shows you how powerful these huge concepts are. This is a weekly double bottom. Look at the continuation. Look at it get closer and closer to that really great technical take profit. If you've been bullish the US dollar recently, you've been doing very well. It's probably one of the best trades in the market at this stage. That's one of the strongest markets. Speaking of strong trades and strong kind of movements, we continue to see OPEC combat everything that comes at them. It seems like they are absolutely hell-bent on keeping oil as high as possible for as long as possible so they can make some of their money back that they lost during the pandemic. Let's take a look at the technicals here. We came back to our previous resistance. We kind of hit like a maximum pain. We went through that support. We've now bounced a little bit up. Are we seeing the signs of recovery for oil? So we've been pretty good as a community picking the oil bottoms. And if when you start going through a few of the signs here, it looks like oil is looking better than it has. We've got that downward trajectory, the 4-hour 20 moving average, the red one. Look at this. Closed above. Fantastic. We've got the trend line being broken to the upside. We've got the potential of a double bottom coming in here in oil as well that's already broken through. And these are the types of things that you like to look for. You want that accumulation base. You obviously want to see strength. And then maybe while it comes back down to 77 here, a nice level, we hope to see buyers push through, get a nice lightning bolt on this side as well. That is the trough, the peak, the higher trough, the higher peak. Wouldn't that be beautiful? Smash through this area here and hopefully resume back up to that 85, 86 zone. It could be the movement here that we've been looking for oil. We've taken a breather on this one on the channel, but it looks to be coming back and hopefully it turns right around here. We're watching this closely over the next coming days of trade on the channel. Let's move over to gold. Much more disappointing. Continues to be a falling knife. And again, it continues to show us that while we might have a strong seasonal being December, I'll just show everybody that hasn't watched this before, watch our channel. We've got these December moves, 2020, 2019, and then of course we have here 2018 and 2017. December seemed to spike gold each time. So there's a bit of a seasonal coming up. We still need the turnaround story and the price action. So we've come down to the last point of support. I would not want it underneath here. Let's go rally gold. Come on. This is the zone where the trend line's being hit. So previous support, it's smashed through this one and this one with no turnaround story. No little lightning bolt down the bottom, no double bottom, no accumulation. We haven't seen buyers find commitment in gold yet. And I hope to see it happen over the next 24 hours. It's really go time here for gold. And this is going to lead into silver. And when we take a look at the silver chart, it doesn't look pretty. It's coming down and testing out really where a lot of people are going to have stops underneath these zones here. We have that massive inverse head and shoulders. We've theoretically broken through the neckline here, and we have just started tanking after that point. And we hope that it turns around. Now, it's more of a hope now than anything else. We need to see the accumulation bases. We need to see this story of rally coming into silver and gold. I think gold will be the one that leads and silver will follow. And where silver would take over is still up here. This 25.40 will be a massive zone should we see that broken in the future. So still leave. If you're not in those, you're not even interested in it right now, might be worthwhile leaving alerts up at those zones because they're what we call mass participation zones. And when we get those and we see them, wow, they become popular and very, very, very strong levels to watch how the market interacts with those zones. Remember, technical analysis is a lot about finding the key areas where you believe money flow and market psychology changes. And then what you want to see is the signs of that money flow and market technology changing. And that's what we look for here. Tesla 1100, it bounces straight down from the 1200, comes straight in here. It's been bought off at the end of the day. It was down more. And when we take a look at the daily, it's kind of a little scary, but at least it held above the 1100. 1109 being the key zone, the high, the low, the intervening area here. So this is basically the long leg doji. And we see the resistance becoming support, and then hopefully a move off from this zone. So definitely Tesla, a very strong position. So let's move over to Apple now. And Apple has been, I guess, a pretty good gift that keeps on giving here. We got through that 150. We were already bullish into the end of the year. We had the 165 target on it. It hit it in about 4 days, which is way faster than I expected Apple to be able to do it, but it certainly did. Now we get into a bit of a consolidation phase. Have we reached the possible target or potential for Apple? It certainly looks like 165 is a big resistance. We have a shooting star coming off that. It wasn't able to confirm down, which is a good sign for Apple holders. And anyone that's looking for higher points, really you're just looking now above 165. Let's get a closure above here, show to the market that it's ready to move to the next level. And then we're talking about 170, 175. Every $5 increment is a pretty good zone to target for Apple day traders and people that are just looking at the stock. If we go back down to something like a 2 hour, we're also looking for a moving average to try to figure out where it might bounce off. It looks like maybe this 2 hour 20 might be the zone, but Apple's probably a little bit more unsure in comparison to something like an Amazon. We move over to Amazon, we look at a daily. It hit that resistance, slammed straight back down, has created a long leg doji, and now we're looking for a closure above the long leg doji to show day traders that it's time to go back up to 3760. You'll know that we're quite bullish this stock. Let's hope it does turn around from the technical perspective. Everything's acting pretty normally right now. It's hit the resistance, come back down. Previous resistance becomes support. Now, hopefully we get that turn story and get back up to the 3760. Amazon's certainly one that we've got our eyes on. Let's get into the indices discussion. Let's talk about all the major stocks out there and where they ended. So IWM came down to the exact pretty much lows that we expected. It hit that 230, bounced straight off that zone. We've got the back trend line just protecting us in case. And again, another long leg doji. The low, the high, the open, and the close very similar to each other. What's this telling us? The market is indecisive. It doesn't exactly know what it wants to do next. But if we get a closure above, is that going to be a great sign for IWM traders? Absolutely. It's going to be a strong sign. We've got a strong seasonality, and we're hoping that this is the turn point for IWM. Certainly a great one to be looking at, and it feeds into that idea that maybe Wednesday, maybe Friday are actually going to be positive days. While a lot of people are talking bearish, we're hoping to see the bull come back in here for at least a few more trading sessions. The FANG is similar. Nice rejection here. Comes down close to the 20 moving average on the daily. Bounces, creates in many ways a pin bar or bullish hammer. Day traders are looking above that 5,700 here on the FANG for continued strength, and then they're going to target that previous high of 5,800. So there's a lot of strength coming through there should we see the follow-on. And if we do end up getting a close underneath the 20, well, I don't have to tell any of you about how big a deal that is. Breaching this 20 moving average, which has been a bounce once, twice, and now potentially 3 times, is a big deal. But also taking out all of the stops that would be underneath this area will end up having a cascade effect. And that's something that you're also looking for in technical analysis, trying to recognize when these key levels break, what does it mean? What is the story the charts are trying to tell us? And something that we're doing investigative work on every single day here together on this channel. We are doing it together to try to find that next level of movement, that next participation zone, and where we believe the strength or the weakness lies. Let's move over to the NDX. So this is the Nasdaq. It bounced off the 20 moving average. We literally talked about it yesterday. It's exactly what we expect. Slams down another day, met by buyer demand at the 20. I'm sure a few of you guys were definitely targeting that zone through the previous trading session, and it's bounced up. What you're looking for if you're a bull in this market right now is a follow through. So we need it above the previous daily range. That is around that 16,400, maybe 10,408. Once it gets through that zone, it shows to us that they're committed to purchasing it, and we see scale-ins from Wall Street algorithms and hopefully new all-time highs. Definitely a Wednesday strength would be awesome, a Friday strength and a Monday strength. Those last couple of days of November, that would be excellent stuff. Let's move over here to the US 100, just futures, and that's the same thing, same story, the 20 and the QQQ, just so you can see it's the exact same thing. Just for the Americans out there that trade this, same concept, same moving average, very similar idea. Let's move over now. SPX. SPX, the S&P 500, did exactly what we thought as well. Sold off into the 20, bounced off that zone. It almost looks like indecision at the top. We've got that fake false breakout to the top side. It sells off and then comes out, wipes out all of those orders that would have triggered off here, gets rid of all their stop losses. And then if I was Wall Street and I was looking at it and thinking, how can I make optimum money? Then I would push it back up and no doubt wipe out a whole bunch of shorts that are coming in here. For some reason, there was a lot of people freaking out about this market being around here. People are really freaking out. I can see it in the comments section. I can see it just in general, YouTube that comes up and just general people's sentiment. They're freaking out about this level. I think we maintain the same thing. We break through this top, and we should see some continued strength coming through. And if we continue on with this bullish pickup that happened at the close of the day, remember the close is the key here. This is where we saw Wall Street picking it up. 4,700 plus is what we're looking at. 4,700 plus, very nice. Movement through, fantastic. We really want to see that there. Let's move over to Bitcoin. Bitcoin continues to do the dance. Have we seen recovery yet? Or are we still just trapped in a bit of consolidation? Well, we know our low. There's such an important zone at this 56,000. Bitcoin here, 56K, 56K. Support, resistance at 60. That 4K interim area seems to be exactly where we're seeing accumulation at this point, and it's turning around a little bit as we speak during this recording. Now, if it gets underneath 56K, the next stop could be around that 52.5, 52,000. It may quickly price down there. Now, if it gets underneath, I think it'll freak a lot of people out. And that's what we get into that maximum pain theory. If it gets underneath, people will seriously freak out in the crypto markets. And that might be what the whales want, because we'll have a look in a second. BTC shorts, that is Bitcoin shorts, are actually rising at this point. So we've got a turnaround story here a little bit to the downside. The daily, let's take a look at that. So the daily remains, look at the strength coming off this zone. I wouldn't blame investors at all at looking at this area and saying, yes, this is certainly a very big zone or area, 56K. We like buying that zone. But if it goes underneath, people will freak out. Next level, somewhere around this 52. And if it goes above 60, well, we've got to celebrate that as a bull. Because if you're a bull in Bitcoin, get through the daily 20, back above the daily 50 at that point as well. Surely then we move to our ABC movement. And I'll show everybody that hasn't seen the videos before what we're talking about there. We're talking about the first move of Bitcoin, the second move of Bitcoin, and then hopefully the third move of Bitcoin. Now, whether it's from here or it's from here, I don't really care, but we're talking about a new all-time high and big numbers being posted by Bitcoin, hopefully into the end of the year. So it's pretty exciting stuff. We mentioned BTC shorts. That is something that a lot of people look at. And this shows us kind of like the whale movement. What are the whales doing? Are they shorting? Are they overall longing? And we've had this declining for a very, very long time now, ever since they really attacked Bitcoin in the middle of this year. But if this does start to rise further and we start to see a big spike in it, we could almost bet that Bitcoin is going to drop at some point, because when the whales start to move, and they're not moving heavily yet, but when the whales move heavily, they tend to get their way. Don't fight the whales. We're like plankton. None of us have enough money to be the whale, or maybe somebody out there in the community does. But in general, we're the plankton. We're getting eaten by them. So we need to be watching this BTC shorts, and we'll continue to follow this as much as possible. Ethereum does look to be the stronger coin versus Bitcoin. It's clearly got a lot more strength in it. It almost tried to break through that 44.50 area. And if it does break through there, you've almost put a double bottom in place, similar to what we're talking about with BTC. We'll have to find out what happens over the next 24 hours. Some key zones here, key support at 4K. You guys know the rest. If it breaks underneath or breaks above, we're paying attention, and certainly day traders will come in to look at that type of stuff. In general, the markets here are a little bit convoluted into Thanksgiving. We've got lots of markets going up. We've got lots of markets going down and sideways. And we've had some pretty surprising movements, things like gold and commodities. But I hope each and every one of you are doing as best you can out there. Stick with it. Focus on the charts. Focus on the price action. And of course, our opinions don't really mean much when the markets are telling us the strong signals are happening. Thanks very much, guys. Remember to subscribe, smash that like button, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.